So component 2, section B, is based on documentary film. There's one film to study, and we'll be looking at As If Capadia's 2015 film about the singer-songwriter Amy Winehouse. Amy. You'll spend 30 minutes working on this section. There's 20 marks available, and that works out as 20% of the overall mark for the exam. You probably want to aim to write about 2 to 3 sides on this section, something in the region of 700 words. There are 2 specialist areas of study, as well as, of course, the core areas. The first specialist area is filmmakers' theories. This requires you to study 2 other documentary filmmakers' approaches to filmmaking and consider how far our focus film Amy does or doesn't follow them. Although we refer to these as theories, this is perhaps a little misleading, as they're really just the ways that those particular filmmakers choose to make their own films. They're not ways that they say or even think that films should be made or anything like that. So in that sense, it's not a theory as such, but it's just a way that they choose to approach their own filmmaking. So the 2 filmmakers we'll be looking at are Michael Moore and Kim Longinotto. It would be a fantastic idea for you to watch at least some of their work in preparation for this unit, if you haven't done already. You won't be asked about their films specifically, but having first-hand knowledge of these filmmakers and what their work is like will really give your discussion points a little bit more sort of weight and strength. You'll be able to write about it more easily. So some good recommendations for Michael Moore are Bowling for Columbine, Sicko, or Fahrenheit 9/11. For Kim Longinotto, you could watch Dreamcatcher, Sisters-in-Law, or Salma. Although any of the films by either of the filmmakers are definitely worth watching. The second specialist study area here is called critical debate, and the debate that you have to consider is how far digital technologies have impacted the creation of documentary film. So you'll be looking specifically at how cheaper, smaller cameras and sound recording equipment has or hasn't changed the ways that documentaries are made, or what is possible through using these technologies. So you'll be looking at, for example, the fact that smaller cameras and sound recording devices make it easier to get high quality footage easily, and therefore what you can actually film and the way you can capture reality is very different to if you've only got big sort of very heavy cameras which need lots of setup time and changing reels of film and stuff. What is documentary? You may or may not have watched other documentaries before, and it's not really uncommon for young people to be less interested in this genre. I really do recommend them, however. There are tons of really good examples of really engaging, entertaining documentaries which I think you'll find very enjoyable, or maybe even very sort of moving, or sort of make you think about things in a different way. Highly recommend The King of Kong, Blackfish, American Movie, or Grizzly Man. But there are tons of fantastic options. So the overall purpose of a documentary is to document something, to tell its story and to tell you about it. It really could be about anything or anyone, but it's about real life. It's about something which exists in the real world, about people quite often, but it could as easily be a place or a hobby or a pastime or a sport or an animal or anything really. The important point to remember, however, is that it's rarely the case that the filmmaker is simply documenting real life as it happens. Even if, as is the case with Amy, the film is almost entirely made up of archival footage, meaning real footage that has been shot by various people. not the filmmaker. It's footage that the filmmaker has taken and is using. Even though it's all real footage of the real Amy Winehouse, her life, her friends, her family, it doesn't mean that we just see the truth. The filmmaker has an opinion, the filmmaker has an agenda, and has created a film using that sort of raw material which pursues that agenda. Kapadia has carefully crafted his film by using the techniques of documentary film to communicate a clear message and opinion, whereby he's very critical of certain people, such as Mitch Winehouse, Amy's father, or Blake Fielder, Amy's ex-husband. And he's critical for the role that they played in her addiction and eventual death. Mitch Winehouse was in fact very unhappy about the way he was portrayed in the film and was very vocal about this in the press. One of the key areas we need to look at, therefore, is the way that Kapadia uses key elements to create these meanings while still maintaining the sort of appearance and feel of the truth, or an authentic view of Amy's life and death. So watch the videos on the specialist study areas and the key sequences to learn more about the specifics about how Kapadia has done this in Amy.